All right, babes. Let's see how YouTube goes because Instagram's not jumping on. Give me a hot minute. I'm going to see what happens. Ew, not cute. All right, what's up, everybody? Couple minutes late because Instagram's having issues tonight. So, hi, loves. So I had to turn off my Wi-Fi because I don't know what's going on with the connection. Are we still in Mercury retrograde? Is that what's going on? So just an FYI, I don't know what's going to happen. So I am streaming live on YouTube as well. Give me a little more light going on here. So I'm actually, if anything happens here, Erin, hi, love. Where am I? Right? You'd think I'd be in the middle of nowhere with the internet connection. It's so terrible. Yes, we're still in Mercury shadow. Okay, so everybody, like, I know this might be a little bit of a switch, but I'm going to actually ask a lot of you to jump over to YouTube. I see a couple of you already jumping on. Hey, Christy, because I don't know what's going to happen on Instagram. So I am streaming live on YouTube. If you can't find it, there's a button on my story or in one of the stories, there's like swipe up from there, right? Hit the story button. It says YouTube. Granted, it'll take you to the video. Or you can just click on the link on my bio. That'll take you to my website. Find it through there. So I get that it's a couple clicks around, but I don't know what's going to happen. So I would much rather have you all streaming with me. Hi, Chris. Yay, we've got more people jumping on YouTube. So lighting's not as amazing. Where are you, Erin? I miss you. Girl, we need to like... Everyone, please go follow drerin.tv. Erin, E-R-I-N, beautiful sister of mine. Yes, girl, we need to like... Our schedules got a little like crazy. We need to like make tea/coffee happen. Miss you. Yes, yes. You're in WeHo. Awesome. Okay. Hey, loves. Okay, so everybody, please go jump over to YouTube because I might actually turn off Instagram tonight because it's kind of acting a little bit weird. I need serious girl time. Girl, I need some serious girl time as well. Let's just like make it happen, please. Yes. Okay, I'll message you after, for real. Okay, so yes, hi, Emma Rose, and hi, everybody who's jumping on YouTube. And is there anybody on YouTube that's new? How am I not jamming out on music? You guys, somebody help me out here. I'm like, I'm fail, Sarah, fail. This song makes me happy. This song makes me very happy. Okay, so please go jump over to YouTube. There we go. Can you guys all see me on YouTube? And if you're new, go to the link in my bio, go on one of my stories on Instagram, and click the video that says YouTube. Swipe up. It'll take you to the video. It'll take you right to my channel. Please jump over to YouTube. Instagram's acting a little wonky this evening. So we're... Party's over on YouTube. And yes, I love all y'all who are jumping on YouTube. What do we got? Hi, Kaiser. Hi, Amy. Hi, Ashley. Yes, girl. I saw you over there. Hey, loves. And is anybody new? I love this song. I will not sing for you guys. Not gonna be. Hey, bro. Sadie, baby. Hey, girl. Oh, Kaiser, a dragon. What up, boo? Okay, jam out while we wait for everybody to get over to YouTube. Who's on YouTube? Okay, cool. We've got like half of you still here on Instagram and half of you on YouTube. So if YouTube cuts out, it's not my fault. Don't do retrograde. Okay, hang on. There we go. There we go. A little darker over there. get it. I get it. But you're all here with me, and that's what's most important. And what are we jamming out on this evening? Woo! I don't know why this song makes me like want to shake everything in my body. That's your YouTube, Dragon? Cool. Oh, cool. I need to go follow you or subscribe. I'm making music now. I love that. All right, guys. Whatever questions you have for this evening. Hi, love. Hi, love. Yes, we're still streaming on. What's going on? Yeah, I just had to turn off, you know, I knew something was missing. The music, exactly. I will do whatever it takes to make sure the stream still comes through. That's what I'm saying. Okay. What are we jamming out on? That was Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance. And I love that YouTube lets me, there we go. YouTube lets me do the songs now, which is great. It just, I don't know, it does something on my page, but that's cool. The sound is better on IG. I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry. Making it work, guys. Making it work. Hi from Colombia, South America. Amazing. Sylvia Ramirez. How's everybody feeling this evening? I feel like I am off center on my chair. Not in the world. Okay, we're doing cards this evening. And what do we got? Cool. Most of you guys are over on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for making it work. Where are you broadcasting from? What do you mean? Los Angeles. So I don't know what's going on with the internet, but I tried like 3 times and it was like checking connection. And I'm like, is that like my connection? Let's just clear that up real quick. Sending me love from South Florida. What up? Yes, love that. How is everybody doing? How are you guys all feeling? Honestly, the energy feels like it's so much, it's like on the upswing, finally. Honestly, like Mercury retrograde, like communication stuff, yes, in relationships and technology. But honestly, for the most part, like, and it has to do with like where it is in your chart, all of that stuff. So, but for the most part, like this Mercury retrograde was pretty okay. I almost had a panic attack, almost, because of some technical shifts with a website, and that's just a whole other conversation, my relationship with my website. So thank you, Kayla. Awesome. So how are you guys all feeling? Better? Yes. Feel amazing? Finally. Exactly, right? So we're all kind of on the upswing. There's a new potential in my life. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. He's cute, though. He's really super cute. Oh, my God. Okay, so can I share with you guys, like, my personal experience with this? You guys want to hear that? I don't know. I was like... So, hi from Mexico. What's up, Jose? Manuel. So do you guys know that... I feel like, when our old programs, right, our old beliefs, our old, like all the stuff from the past that then we're doing our best, right, to not bring in the present, right? You know what I'm talking about? Thank you, Sadie Baby. First time on YouTube. Yay, James. Awesome. You guys are all excited for me. We'll see. Time will tell. That's something my dad has always said. It's like, time will tell. I highly recommend you guys taking that one on, especially with, with new people. But what I did notice, okay, for my own internal processing system, I noticed some old stuff, like old stuff coming up. What I mean by that is, and I was talking to my mama about this, and we were laughing our asses off because do you guys know that game, oh crap, what was it called? Whack-a-mole. It's like chiming in. Thank you. Whack-a-mole. Okay, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like when you go to those like places where they have all the games and then like the little mole pops up and then you have to like hit it with the big rubber thing and then another one pops up and then you have to hit another one and then it pops up and then like 5 different ones pop up like all at all the same time and you're about ready to have a panic attack with moles popping up in your face. That's kind of like how subconscious programs are. So those were like all coming up. And I felt like, because I was very much in the present of tracking them, right? And what I mean by that is, yes, I said, so what I mean by that is when we can like step into the observer position, right, of all of our programs and the belief systems that that come in when specific events happen or when you have different emotions, right? Because all of our thoughts and emotions are all tied together, but your emotions always amplify your thoughts, right, or overpower your thoughts. That being said, I was tracking it, right, and I'm like this, like an old one would come in, right? Like, oh gosh, what if he's going to be like the last one, right? Or the last 5. What if he's going to have, what if he's going to have narcissistic tendencies? What if he's going to be emotionally available of a 5-year-old, right? Like have the emotional availability of a 5-year-old, like all of these different things started coming into play, right? Like, what if eventually the sex is bad? Like, I mean, come on, that's like girl brain. You just start going like all the way in the future. And that's why it's very important to play whack-a-mole with these subconscious programs and with these different beliefs and past experiences, right? Because they started coming in. I'm still shoveling. They started coming in and I was like, oh, and that's old, right? There's one from the past and that's so old. And so I like chopped it or whacked it, right? And then another one came in and I had to whack it again. And then another one came in and I had to whack it again. So that was my experience. And remembering that like, because my mom even asked me, she's like, why is that happening, Sarah? Like, why do we do that? Right? How come, like, why does this happen? The cards are from Sacred Rebels, Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. So she's like, why does that happen? And I'm like, well, all the significant events that we've been through, right? And the ones that, like when we say significant events, it's the ones that have a powerful emotional impact on us, right? And that can be positive significant events. And then you can have those really negative significant events. And then all of the fears get pre-programmed into your subconscious, and your subconscious, part of your ego, right? Which you guys have heard me say so many times, is your inner child. And your inner child wants to stay safe. And it's like, let's not do that again. Right? And yet then you're over here trying to get to the new level of learning about yourself and having greater awareness and playing whack-a-mole. Meanwhile, your inner child is like, I don't want to play whack-a-mole. Remember what happened? Let's not do that. Because if you play whack-a-mole and you try to like whack away what I'm trying to say, inner 5-year-old, right? Inner child, ego, protection program, right? Is like, remember what happened last time? We don't want to repeat that. We don't want to do that again, right? And then what do? We will look for evidence for how it's showing up and where it's showing up, right? Cool. I love how half of you guys are on YouTube and half of you guys are on Instagram. You're all so badass. Hey, Nettie. So that being said, why they happen is because you're ego / inner child / protection program wants to keep you safe. It like wants you to like, keep an even kill. Like it wants you not to die, basically, right? Merry Christmas too. Happy holidays for whoever's wherever, right? And so that's why they start coming in. So the minute that you're going after something that feels really good, or there's potential, or there's possibility, or there's excitement, right? Then the mole starts coming up, and it's like, oh, but what if that bad thing is going to happen again? What if it's going to turn out the way that it did in the past? How many people relate to this? Are you guys following? Like, are you guys like, what is she talking about with whack-a-mole game? Give me some hearts or give me some yeses if you're following exactly how I'm referencing the whack-a-mole game with old fears and subconscious programs coming in to try to protect you from getting to something positive or something amazing, right? Just because it wants to protect you. Yes, yes, yes. Hearts, love. Yes. Awesome. Badass. Cool. You guys are so awesome. So we have to play whack-a-mole. Because that's the only way. We have to play whack-a-mole, and we have to say, okay, fear, old program, inner young child, right? Inner ego. Everything's going to be okay. I am the creator of my reality and my relationships. I do not have to take those past beliefs into the future, or technically into the present, and then look for evidence of how they show up in the future. Hence, AKA recreating them in the future. Hence, AKA being a self-fulfilling prophecy. You guys know what I'm talking about there? Like, you will surely, if you let those things come in without whack-a-moling them, without whacking them away, then they continue in your field, and then you'll seek out the evidence to be like, oh, see, I was right. Woo. Emotional intelligence of a 5-year-old. See, I can't do that. See, is this making sense? I mean, okay, I'm gonna pull 3 of them. I'm not gonna look at them this time. We're gonna save that till the end. So I'm gonna put these down right there. Okay, so I had to check it, like, for real, and that's been. In that context, it's been a long time since those came up, right? The cool part is that, like I said, when you can step into the sort of observer of like, and I go like this because whenever there's like information, whether it's subconscious or telepathic, like for some reason it always comes in my left side. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it has to do with intuitive sides or right hemisphere of the mind, and so interdimensionally it will always flip. Right? That's a different topic. Anyways, point is, when you can step into the observer, right? Step into the like being aware of like when they're coming in, how they're coming in, what they're saying. That's like so important. How many of you guys are actually tracking like what you're saying? Those belief systems, some belief systems you have, and some internal dialogue, right? Some of it you're conscious of that you can hear, and then some of it is actually still running in your subconscious mind. I talk about that so much, right? We got to be able to delete those. Hi, Annie. Beautiful. Lovely to see you again, too. Hey, the higher self. Oh, so much love to you as well. Everybody who, you guys should all probably know the higher self, but please go follow the _higher_self. Underscore. Is there an overscore? Anyways, you guys always wonder what I'm drinking. I am drinking, I got these, you know, you can put hydrating, like electrolytes and stuff like that in the water. I'm on that kick right now. Because it's, you know, getting winter time here in the US and it's getting cold, which means drier. Okay, so yes, catching them lately and becoming better at it. Awesome. So you're playing whack-a-mole. So it's like, how good can we get at playing whack-a-mole, basically, right? And I just found it so funny that I was driving and in came this, I don't even remember what all of them are right now, to be honest, because I heard it come in. I was like, oh, I don't want to let that into this reality. Absolutely not. And so I like squashed it and was like, thank you so much, and let that go. And then right after that, another one came, just like whack-a-mole, and it pops up, like another one pops up, and they keep popping up because it's your subconscious, right? The protection program of your subconscious that doesn't know that it's safe to allow love in. that doesn't know yet that it's safe to be receiving of love, doesn't know yet that you are the creator of your reality and your relationships, doesn't know yet that you're sitting there as the observer saying thank you, but no thank you, right? And it's literally just there trying to protect you from all of those old decisions and choices that you made that were all of those old decisions and choices that you made while under the influence of a false identity. Those. Not your favorite mistakes. Who sang that song? Was it Sheryl Crow? Yeah. Not your favorite mistakes. There was no mistakes. They were just choices that you made while under the influence of a false identity. False identity being the one that was all of the subconscious programs dictating your reality before you knew that you are the master creator of your own reality and thus then your relationships, right? Hi, Dave. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Emmy. Awesome. Right? Is this making sense? So, ooh, that just hit a nerve. Ooh, yay, we got a nerve hit. Awesome. I'm doing my job then. I didn't have any clients today, so I didn't hit any nerves. So as long as I can hit a nerve for you, good. Give it a little love. Give it a little love. And remember that you are your authentic version of yourself. Your authentic identity, right? Your authentic self, your future self, your higher self, call it whatever you want to. I don't care. But there's that version of you that already is amazing, that already is perfect. And yet it's got all these layers that is having your behavior and the choices that you make and your emotions and thus then your belief systems and your thoughts and your internal dialogue all associate with that false identity, right? I call it false identity because it's all around fear and limitation, right? Does that make sense? Can we say false identity versus real or authentic or higher or divine badass, right? Identity, right? So yes, it's important to not, like if it hits a nerve, then like have a little compassion on yourself because we're all still, no matter what level you're at, we're all here just trying to get to then the next higher level of awareness, right? The path of enlightenment is a journey. It is to trigger you in a really loving, gentle way. in a way that's like, if it's a trigger, if it's especially like, if it's like one that like kind of hits your gut, right? Then that's part of your authentic self, your higher self, right? Your true identity. Like it's reflecting back so that then you can go in and say, okay, is this part of the identity that I would like to continue into the future, right? Is this part of me that I want to continue into 2019? Is this part of me that I want to continue into my every relationship? Since we have relationships romantically, with business, with ourselves, with our bodies, our relationship with spirit, right? And how you do one, you guys already know, is how you do them all. What's up? Hi, guys. Hi, Natalia. That's what we talked about? Like you and I, when, who, where? The false self. Yes, makes sense. And yes, divine badass. Exactly. Of course you would resonate with that, Dragon. Love your badass nails and rings. Thanks, love. These never come off. This one comes off. But these don't come off. I leave these on all the time. This was my grandmother's old wedding ring. That's a different story. It holds a nice reminder for me, right? Some of you know my journey with that. Maybe one day I will add an extra video of dissecting that whole journey, right? And I don't know, I like mid rings. I like rings, I like jewelry. And half of me thinks that I think it's really protecting my electronics. from my energy. That's what I think happens, because I'll go somewhere and if I get really like stressed or if I'm not managing my energy well, and then all the electronics start acting weird. So maybe that's why Instagram went all gnarly. I love you guys too. Thank you. Cool. And we're still good streaming on Instagram. And we got, like, again, I love half of you guys are here in YouTube and half of you guys are on Instagram. I love that. And yes, I'm sure the sound is, well, it is what it is, right? Authentic self versus inauthentic self. Yes. Yes. Awesome. So you guys are all badass. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Did I explain that in a way that like resonates and feels like yummy within? Does that feel really like juicy and good? Because we're all here, like the more that we can all get into that space of being aware of those things that are coming in, those moles. Because, you know, like a mole, like the job of a mole, right? Like it's to like burrow these holes into your subconscious, burrow these holes into the ground, right? And it will keep digging and keep getting deeper and just like tear up the foundation of the earth underneath. The surface, the grass looks great on the surface, right? But underneath, it's like a cavern of all of these mole tunnels, leaving the underneath foundation not very solid at all, right? And so if we can kind of like look at that when it comes to those limiting aspects of our belief systems or those everyday thoughts, conscious and unconscious, I get the unconscious ones, right? That's what we do the deeper work for, right? That's what like doing more advanced work with me is all about, is really discovering what those are, right? That all being said, like we got to check them when they first come up. Otherwise, if we let it go, like it will continue burrowing like all throughout, like that one thought, right? The fact that I had the first one that came up, if I would have let it go, it could have turned into like a whole, not awesome, right? And then ultimately putting me into an emotional state, amplifying my emotional state, right? Or amplifying the emotions that are associated with that limiting belief. So then they start amplifying each other. And then I'm like, oh, screw it. I'm out, right? Like ultimate decision. Like you can psych yourself out of something. Does that make sense? That's a fact. Yes. You don't want moles ruling my life. Exactly. Yeah, I don't want moles ruling my life. Exactly. Nobody wants moles ruling their life. And yet, that's what, right? We're just bringing the awareness to so that you guys can be checking like, okay, what are those things? Whether you're in a relationship or single, because both still apply. Okay. Right? And we mean romantically, because also you're in a relationship, so many different aspects of yourself. What I mean by that is the things outside of you are the reflections of those so many different aspects within you, right? Hence those times that we get triggered, that's just an aspect within you. So it will burrow all of them. It's not like you got one mole rolling around, right? And yet it will wreak havoc. The multiples of them will wreak havoc on like your belief system, and then ultimately leading you to what? That not confident feeling and any varying degree of not good enough feeling. And yet if we can bring the awareness to, okay, what are those? What are we saying? What are we saying? What are we making that mean? I know you guys have heard me say that so much, but that's like such key foundation. Before you get to the deeper advanced stuff, it's like you got to just find out what you're making it mean and write it down. If you can hear what you're saying and write it down and hold neutral space while you're saying it, that is like, I don't even want to say step one. That's like prerequisite step one. Does that make sense? Because then why I say hold neutral space, so then you don't judge yourself for what you're saying about yourself, right? Make that super, super, super clear. What am I? I don't know what that means. Amplifying. Yes. Yeah. Your emotions and your thoughts. I like to say that your emotions amplify your thoughts and your belief systems, because I believe the energy of emotion is more powerful than the energy of a thought, right? Like, and love is the most powerful energy in the universe, right? And everything is energy. And the everything that we do, right? Everything, every experience, right? All the relationships that we have, right? With romantically, with business, with yourself, like with the things that you're doing in the world, your friendships, all of the above, every single relationship that we have, the purpose, right? Or really like the why we relate is so that then we can experience an emotion, experience a state of being, right? Can we all agree on that? Does that resonate? Like everything that we do is so that we can feel something. Sometimes we do crazy things so that then we can feel something that feels like bad, or I should say, not to judge it, the opposite, further opposite of love. Sometimes we just do things so that we can experience the feeling of what it feels like to do and feel something that is further away from the feeling of love. Sometimes we do things that want to bring us closer to the feeling of love, right? And yet at the same time, we're all doing something to elicit some kind of an emotion. We're not doing it to think about it. Nobody's doing anything to like think. Right? maybe sometimes, right? And yet at the same time, you might even be thinking to then give yourself an emotion. Ultimately, everything that you're doing is to feel something. And so if that's the case, then we got to make sure that we check the things that we're saying that then are creating or going in the same vibration of a feeling that we don't want. And if it's what we don't want, we got to like whack-a-mole it. And if it comes up again, then we got to whack-a-mole it. And then it comes up again, and then we got to whack-a-mole it. And I don't care how many times you got to play whack-a-mole, but we all need to get really good at whack-a-mole. I know that game gives me anxiety, but it's important, right? Thought is always the precursor to emotion. That is the greatest, like, mind fuck out of anything, out of all the personal development, emotional intelligence world, right? Like, I've even tried dissecting that. Okay, I went down that rabbit hole to be like, which one comes first, the thought or the emotion? I don't care. I don't care. It took way more brain cell power. Like, that's not what I want to spend my brain power doing. What I do want to say about that, however, is whichever one came first, your emotions will amplify. You guys have heard me say this a lot, right? Where this was a couple of videos ago. So if you're new, maybe you haven't. But for those of you that have been with me many times, the emotion will amplify the thought. And so a lot of times I use the example with mantras, right? Those positive incantations or positive mantras. Even if you're repeating mantras multiple times, even if they're ancient and they were used to like do powerful things, yes, honoring that aspect. And if your emotional state, if your state of being, right? The state that you're in while you're saying those mantras, we're just using one example, right? And you guys get what I mean by using a mantra, positive thought, right? Trying to like fake it till you make it in your mind. Meanwhile, you feel like shit. Which one is going to overpower? It doesn't matter how many times you recite that positive mantra. If your state of being is not in a vibrational match to that, then your emotions will overpower that thought, right? That mantra. Doesn't matter how ancient it is. I don't care how many times you repeat it. Like, you could repeat it 1,000 times, but your emotional state is still happening at the same 1,000 times, right? So it's also easier. It is more powerful. It is more powerful to shift your belief system or thoughts if your state of being, your emotion, is there first, right? So if you create the foundation of a positive emotion, if you can get your like emotional flexibility, your emotional fitness, like that you can, you know, you're like, okay, if I feel bad, how quickly can I get out of that? Right? We all have what I call emotional alignment, and getting into emotional alignment with your most authentic self will keep that momentum going. The thing that pulls you out of your emotional alignment is all those negative thoughts. And then those negative thoughts, yes, can then create negative emotions. Boom, you're out of alignment. Or a negative emotion, don't even have to think about anything. Boom, you're out of alignment. Right? So the reason why I say it's maybe not easier to shift into or shifting your emotions, right? Because they're more powerful. Like sometimes the human condition, sometimes you just want to sit in something that doesn't feel good, right? Sometimes we do that. There's something called the pain body, and the pain body is kind of like, you know, you got to feed it. It wants to be fed like an addiction, right? The other thing that I'll say though, however, is not every negative emotion is bad. Sometimes it can be really motivating. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, I feel like absolute crap, and then that somehow motivates you? Then you like, instead of whatever that crap feeling, if you could put a name on it, and then that gets you to almost like frustration, and then the frustration creates some sort of fire under your ass, and then you motivate, and then you end up doing something, right? So there's a step-by-step process, and yet at the same time, like it started with a negative emotion, but it got you to do something, right? You didn't stay in it. Thomas, was that a question? Or mantras never worked for you? Christy, because most likely, and I say this a lot, your mantras don't work if your subconscious programs are still running. So those things that you can't hear, the things that you don't know that you're saying, or that you can't hear that you're saying, right? Specifically, those will trump your mantras. What was the example I get? Right, we have two different playlists. We've got that like super amazing like playlist that makes us feel like awesome and super fun, and then all the lyrics that are in those songs, and then we've got this like other really awful music that we can't stand, and all the like death metal and all the just gnarly lyrics that they're saying, and that is drawing our attention, because when we really want to be hearing that one that's like super fun and super like keeping us aligned to our authentic, fun, happy self. And yet there's this annoying thing that's playing, right? The thing you need to whack-a-mole. And if that's playing, then if both of them are playing at the same time, all of your attention is drawn to the thing that's annoying, because you're just like, please just shut it off. Just shut it off. And then sometimes you just drown it out, or you put a pillow over it so you can't quite hear it so much. And yet it's still playing underneath the pillow. Now it's just muffled. So it's still in your field. It's still in your energetic field. And your energetic field vibrates and emanates out. And it's also what attracts the same like vibration to you, right? Yes, exactly, Jackie. Remember the playlist that we can't have? No Kanye West playlist. Because no offense to anybody who likes Kanye West, okay? That was the example I gave, because like I'm just not a fan, and he's just the most arrogant, narcissistic, and just his lyrics are like, really? Like, really? And what are we doing with that? That's all. So I was just like, to me, I'm like, oh God, like if Kanye West was playing at the same time as like Alicia Keys' This Girl Is on Fire, that would seriously ruin my moment, right? I would definitely be out of emotional alignment, getting irritated that I have to listen to Kanye talking about some sort of Klondike bar. I went old school. That's like because that's the only lyric that I know, because I don't listen to his stuff. But that one, I'm just like, seriously? So I can't. It's not my jam. Not my jam. Maybe it is for somebody else. That's cool. That's awesome. You've got another one that you can't stand. Maybe it's country that you can't stand. Some people, they're just like, oh my God, please don't. I can't listen to another song about like, you know, drinking beer and my dog dying. I don't know. relationship ended and they fell off a fence and their dog died. Like that's pretty much every country's song. I don't know. Can't have no country playlist either. But put your example of that in, right? Facts. Yes, exactly. I'm not me either. Exactly. I'm just saying, right? But like insert your own can't stand, or the music, the one that you really, really love, and then the one that you totally can't stand, right? Here's a great question. Hi, Gloria. Hang on. We got lots of questions. Erica, girl, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Exactly. I can't. And then rhyme it with dyke. Like just what? No, stop. I love you, Erica. Okay. The more our vibrations raise, the less we align with those types of music. Exactly. And I'm like, you know what? Listen to whatever you want to. Just be like, same thing with your belief systems. Listen to whatever you want to, as long as you can hear it and play whack-a-mole, right? Like if I was listening to music, sometimes like I do, I totally jam out on the radio. Like, you know, it's like we can't get so serious that we're like, okay, enlightenment means that now you only can listen to like kirtan. No, listen to whatever you want to, right? You guys have even heard me say, yes, our music, it's recorded in 440 and it's pulling our vibration off and it's supposed to be in 432 and blah, blah, blah. And like, keep the fun. Keep the fun in spirituality. Keep the fun in like spiritual awareness and enlightenment and like, you know what I mean? Like, don't take it so seriously. You have to be able to laugh at yourself as a human. We're all funny, fucked up humans. We just are, right? And the more that we can laugh at that and just be like, all right, okay. Now can we get to like the deeper? Can we like get to it, right? Humor is so key. I laugh at myself all the time, right? Even the days that I'm having panic attacks. If I can get into that, right? If I hit the stress and the boa constrictor, I'm like, okay, you're not having fun, Sarah. You're out of emotional alignment, Sarah. Sometimes I have to tell myself that. Sometimes I have people around me that like to remind me of that, right? And we're all human, and it's not to say that we're not going to be pulled out of alignment, but the name of the game is not whether you're in or out. The name of the game is how quickly can you recognize that you're out and then get yourself back in? How strong can you build the emotional muscle of choosing the emotions that you want and moving into those when you want, like on command? It's a huge, honestly, like, I'm so grateful for the over 15 plus years that I was in the entertainment industry, literally learning emotional mastery. You have to literally squash your own emotions, right? Which was my lesson and like gift and sort of curse at the same time, right? I don't want to say curse, but challenge. Gift and challenge at the same time, right? Because you would have to squash your own emotions to then play the emotions of somebody else. So you could not be having a bad day. Your emotions don't matter. You need to be like this, you know, whatever that other person, whatever that character is, right? And yet it has you build that muscle of, okay, I can move into this when I want to, right? Doesn't mean shut down your own emotions. That was something that late, you know, starting super young, that I was using it to run away, to be quite honest. Right. And later in life, I had to then learn, okay, Sarah, don't suppress your own emotions, like allow those to come up and be okay with that. And then all emotions, and even the ones that don't feel good, are not necessarily negative. Every emotion you have is there to teach you and is there to tell you something. It needs to teach you and tell you something, or it's there to teach you and tell you something. Right. But if I'm in an emotion too long, that's not in the alignment of what I would like to create for my reality and my relationships, then the awareness is key, right? Step one or prerequisite, right? And then building that muscle and that strength to say, okay, this is not what I want, whack-a-mole and move, right? Shift into a different state. And that's choice. And literally choice is our greatest power, right? The fact that you can create your own reality, really the foundation of that is choosing it. But if you're in an emotion that you don't want and you can't get out of it, this might trigger a few people. I love you. If you're in a negative emotion that you don't want and you're there, you are still choosing it. You're choosing it. The only reason that you're still there is because you're choosing that emotion as opposed to choosing another emotion. Does that make sense? I love you. Did that trigger anybody? Woo! I'm still learning how to snap out of that and back into alignment. Okay, awesome. The reason why you are having trouble with that is because maybe you don't know where your emotional alignment is. Consider that. If we don't know where we're jumping, if we're in a lake and we're on one stone and we need to get across the lake and there's one other stone that's there, you're standing on this stone. Like, if you don't know where that next stone is, you can't leap. You can't get there. You can't align to something, right? You have to know what you're aligning to before you get into alignment with it. Does that make sense? So that's probably just kind of tapping into you. That might be why you're having trouble getting back into alignment, is because maybe you don't have a clear foundation and a solid anchor for what that emotional alignment is. And then the anchor to pull you back in, right? Okay. One question. And then, was this helpful? Is this good? Is this resonating? I was like, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I was a little tired. I took a nap and look what happens. One question, then I will open up the cards because I want to make sure that we do that for time. And yes, Gloria. So we are feeling the collective. Are we feeling the collective emotions? Great question. Are we a target? Interesting, to these energies because we are being conscious to every thought and emotion. Damn, girl, I can tell that you put a lot of thought into that because you also use the target emoticon. So really, really awesome question. I'm going to repeat the question for everybody in case you guys didn't hear it. Are we feeling the collective emotions? Are we a target to these energies because we are being conscious to every thought and emotion? Okay, two-part question. One, are we feeling the collective energies? We all have the capability to feel the collective, right? Because we come from the collective. So if you're aligning to that and then feeling the collective emotions of everybody, that can happen 100%, right? And that can be because you're part of the collective and we're all one, right? And so there's a debate too, right? Or I should say a conversation about, are our emotions separate or are they all the same, right? And it's a deeper conversation. I might make a video on that one specifically. But that being said, yes, you can feel the collective emotions. We're all capable of that. And especially when we're in alignment, then, that is being aligned to the collective. But that's not a bad thing, because what I also feel is we got to get away from associating emotions that we don't want to feel, right? Or the negative emotions or the ones that are further away from love as being bad and wrong and scary and things that we should run from, right? Because like I said, every emotion is there to teach you and tell you something. It has a message. Even sometimes when I'm working with clients and we speak to the actual emotion, because it's a consciousness, let's say it's anxiety or something, sometimes it has a message that's positive, right? That's encouraging. So we can't, like, it's our mind that then is also telling us and judging whether the emotion is good or bad or wrong or whatever, right? So yes, that being said, we can all tap into the collective emotion, right? And I believe that there's a benefit to that in order to help raise the whole collective consciousness, in order to shift our cultural dynamic as a whole. I believe that that's important. Does not mean that you will be weighed down by it. You will only be weighed down if you continue associating with being weighed down by it, right? And getting into alignment with that and not knowing how to then get out of alignment with that, right? Let me rephrase that. Not knowing how to feel into the field of the collective emotion and whack-a-mole it, right? You need to be able to whack-a-mole whatever is needing to be whack-a-moled. That's what I'm really saying. That being said, are we a target to these energies? I don't know, and what specifically you mean by what energies? Because we are being conscious to every thought and emotion. So whatever you specifically associate to energies, that's for your interpretation, right? Everybody has a different interpretation of it. However, I believe that it's scarier to not be conscious. I believe that you're more susceptible to influence that is there to keep you limited if you are not conscious of thoughts and emotions, right? Because in order to be that creator of your reality and your relationships, like, you're taking on the awareness and being conscious of every thought and emotion. So I don't think that it, the only thing that would target, right, like you're saying, or like what I kind of get from you is like, oh, would it attract more? It will only attract more of the energies that you don't want if you stay in that. If you're not the alchemized or the alchemist, right, of shifting and whack-a-moling and getting into then the alignment that you want, then you might be a target for more, but that's because it's already within you and it hasn't been processed or healed within you, right? And you're staying in it and you're cultivating and you're building the snowball and continuing the momentum of the energy around whatever that emotion is, right? Then yes, you would be a target for more because it's in your field, and whatever's in your field, you'll attract more of. Make sense? Is that helpful? Okay. Okay, cards. I need to be, it's so funny because it's like whenever I flip over these cards, like I read what's on and then I get intuitively, and sometimes it says something totally different on the card, but I read it in a totally different way. This first one, I love, she's a little barefoot dancing through puddles, and it says, bring it into form. I like that. To me, that's conscious awareness. Let me just flip over all of these. Releasing, I like that with the bees. Oh, Erica, are you still on? Releasing allegiances. You guys see that? She's got bees all over her, which is queen bee, mind you. Queen bees. So is that Erica? Where are you, girl? You still on? Ooh, 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 that's hot. With another bee and a scarab. Big, bold vision. See the scarab down here? Can you guys see this on YouTube as well? And then this is another bee. And hence, queen, hello, and lots of Egyptian, the eyes of Ra and sun and awareness. Okay, so we have bring it into form, releasing allegiances, and big, bold vision. Okay. Okay, got it. So bring it into form is bring your awareness. Bring your awareness, bring the thought, bring whatever from the subconscious, bring it into conscious view. Bring that blind spot, bring it in front of your dashboard so that you can see it, right? You might need support and tips and tricks and tools for that, right? We're not taught that stuff. So, So you have to bring the blind spot into the front, right? Carl Jung also talks about that, bringing the unconscious into the conscious. So bringing it into form, like making it tangible. Oh, these are little... These are little flying things too. Can you guys see the little flying things? There's lots of buzzing bees and queens. So there's lots of queen energy, right? Divine feminine essence, queen essence within, whether you're man or woman, right? Because all of you know that I've talked many, many times. Doesn't matter. Everybody's got an internal queen. Everybody. Gay or straight. It's your feminine essence, right? Your creativity, your intuition, all of those things. Okay, so bringing it into form, bringing your awareness, perspective, understanding, compassion, all of the thing, like putting it into a bowl and associating it from a place of love and compassion, whatever it is, right? Subconscious programs, old fears, old wounds, whatever that is. Bring it from behind, bring it from like the scary place where you've shoved it down, bring it here, right? That could go two ways, and say bring it into form is like the tangible, the etheric version is thought and emotion, right? Because those are non-tangible. They're energies, right? So they're non-tangible. So bringing it into form would technically be speech. Bringing something into form would be taking that like sort of etheric thought, inspiration, could be fear, right? And then speaking it, that's bringing into form. You're anchoring it, and you're being the conduit for that energy, which is another reason why we have to be really particular about whatever those things that we are hearing. And when we speak them out loud, you just brought that into form. You just created that into your reality, right? Releasing allegiances is whack-a-mole. Like cut, get rid of the things. I know we say that are no longer serving, right? Get rid of the things that are not in alignment with your authentic, your true self, right? Instead of your false self, get rid of the false self. Come into 2019 with the authentic true self, releasing the allegiances from your old false self and stepping in to like this queen. She's got these bees all over her, but she's also like crouched and like protecting herself, right? So she's not open. She's not able to receive. How are you going to be able to receive love if you're like this, right? Allowing yourself to be open. And when you can like release all that stuff off, boom. Yes, Erica, you are still on. Relationship with self is key. Hello, hashtag self-love. Okay. Big, bold vision. Straight, like everything about that is like, again, you can't jump until you know where you're going. And the bigger the vision, the scarier and the more intense those limiting beliefs you will activate, and they will come in to try to keep you from your biggest, boldest vision. And yet you can't create a big, bold vision, or you can't jump until you create a big, bold vision. You don't know where you're going. Right? And yet, if you set that to go where you want to go and create that big, bold vision, yes, it's going to be accompanied by lots of limiting beliefs that you need to whack-a-mole. So then whack-a-mole them, aka bring them into form. Okay? Yes, 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 queen. Dragon, you're so awesome. Okay, you guys are amazing. I think this is gonna count down in a minute, or maybe it's not because I started late. Erica, girl, we need to do a live together, like straight up. We'll do that. Okay, so bring it into form. Bring whatever the blind spot, unconscious, into the conscious. Release the allegiances, release those past subconscious programs, create the big, bold vision so that you know where to jump, okay? You guys all know, I'm going to say it again, for the holiday season, I'm doing 20% off the 30 minutes, and I added an hour, okay? So if you want to know what your stuff is, if you want to know what you need to bring into form, and then what would support you better in the future, okay, the link is in my book. A book button on my bio on the Instagram, and I'll put it into YouTube so that I can support you with that. So you can go into 2019 with your true identity, releasing, or at least having the tools and the techniques to release your false identity. Doesn't need it anymore. Don't need it. It's not where you're going. Unless, of course, you want to keep it. That's entirely your choice. All you. No judgment. either way. Yet, if you are the type of person who would like to go into 2019 with the full conscious mindset of being the creator of your reality and your relationships, hit the book button. Let's see where you're at. I love you all so much. Thank you for tuning in to Soul Circle Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Instagram and YouTube. I love you guys. Mwah. I love you guys. Bye. Bye.